Welcome to Armchair Safari, the daily design stream where we try to become better designers by finding a cool piece of design online, looking at that and figuring out if we can learn from it. If you want to tag along, there's a chat somewhere around the window here. If you just want to look at the design, it's in the description below or in the next post. And today we're going to be looking at something really nerdy that I found, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. So this is from Sebastiano Guerriero. Damn it, me and names. Anyway, Sebastiano here has 10K followers, so it's quite likely that you're already following him. But anyway, you should follow him anyway because look at what he's building here. So he's rethinking. He's making a concept app. So this is like something that he wishes existed, and he is making it happen by just designing it out. And he calls it a simplified code editor designed for building UIs specifically. So it's a blend between VS Code and Figma, where coding meets a designer-friendly environment. This is really fascinating because this is one of those, like, this is the intersection between things that don't ever really happen. But we've actually seen a couple of things that are very similar to this over the years, and I think there's real value in this. And when we get into the actual design, you'll realize why I'm so like impressed by this. But basically, what this is something like Dreamweaver if you're old, like I am, or Webflow if you're young and cool, like I am not, but on a completely different level. Because Webflow is a service, you can't use it without their hosting. And this is an editor that is just rethinking how you would interact with the building blocks of a UI. So let's start with this first screenshot that he posted. So in this case, we have basically a folder or a project or something, and in that you have a page home. The nav bar is just super simple, makes total sense, no, absolutely like that. And then below it, we have what looks like it's a DOM tree, right? So if you built any web design or coded for any web project, you'll recognize this very simply. This is just all of the elements on a page outlined in a tree structure, so you can go into them or jump out of them. This is very similar to like DevTools in Chrome, but with classes observable, and it just looks really nice. It's very nice, and it becomes even crazier when we scroll up to see some of his later shots. So this is how he would interact with styles for a specific element. So we are on a page, we have a left-hand sidebar where we're choosing an element on the page, and then we have a right-hand sidebar where we're creating styles and interactions for that thing. We can also see in the nav bar in this shot, we can also see that there's a zoom level. There's something toggling like the signbars probably. There's also a code ed mode, so you could probably switch this out to just be in the code view instead. And there's like a contextual menu. All of this totally makes sense, but what really freaks me out about this is just how incredibly thought through the interaction pattern of this is. Like if you have coded, and I have a lot, especially for the web, this level of detail for like what it is you're actually reading and what it is you're actually looking at is it's just really nice. It's just really well thought through. And I'm genuinely like intrigued. I can't say impressed because this is just a concept. I mean, I could say impressed. I am impressed, but that's not the point. The point is I'm intrigued. Like I would like to know more. I would like to try this out. I would like to see, ooh, how are you thinking about this or that? How would this work when I'm actually trying to fiddle around with styles? That is a really good emotion to have. when you're looking at a UI. If you get inspired or intrigued, like I feel now when you're looking at something like this is a good indication that he's onto something. And the crazy part about this is that he's not using a single color. It is just a grayscale, and there's almost no design elements whatsoever. It's almost all there to communicate something very specific, and it's just laid out in a really logical manner. So the things that we would normally consider design aren't in this. This is just information architecture and a font. That's like literally it. There's a couple of icons, a drop shadow on like the select box, but there's very few things in here which we would consider like a graphic designer or someone graduating from college would consider to be design. This is basically all information architecture, and it is so incredibly cool to see. So, all right, let's just pick one of these and do the random review. Let's see. Let's go with this one because it didn't have the box. Actually, no. Let's do the box. Which one's the latest one? So this is October 22nd. This is October 22nd. This is October 22nd. They're all from October 22nd. Okay, never mind. Let's just pick this. Oh, and we got a weird selection here. Thank you, Mac OS. I love that you can select photos, select text in photos, but it's not always useful, just most of the time. Okay. So the format that I use for these design reviews is picking out what's good about this, what can we use in our design, what is bad about this, what should we like avoid in our design, and does this work for the end user? The most important thing. So the end user, let's start with the good. Okay, the information architecture. This is so incredibly clear, even compared to something like Chrome DevTools, that I like it. I saw this screenshot just scrolling past some design. I saw this and I was like, ooh, stopped. And I immediately could read what it's doing. And this is because, of course, I speak code. This is not for someone who doesn't know how to code at all. But at the same time, you could probably discover a lot of what the meanings actually are, because it's structured in a way that you couldn't really do it wrong. So each selector has its parameters in a dropdown. So you can add selectors as you go. I mean, you have the element probably on the other side of the screen, right? So in this case, he probably has button selected. So you would start from button and then add whatever you want to selector. And then you would add whatever rules you want to that. And it would just automatically sort it in the logical way for you to see it. And I just realized that I just filled in a gap that he actually hasn't designed in the screenshot. I'm just assuming it would automatically sort for you, whereas that's probably something that is a design choice that might not be obvious. But the fact that I'm filling it in makes me think that I'm filling it in because I think that this is a real app, even though it's just this concept. That's how well made this is. That's incredibly cool. Okay, so what is good about this? Information hierarchy on the screen. Brilliant. Really easy to use. Like it is a pattern we have seen in Webflow, so it's not a new pattern. He didn't invent this, but it is really well made. I would love to see what the interaction pane would look like, what that would contain, because interactions or animations on the web, they're really not that great implemented. It's kind of strange to use them code-wise. The logical structure is sort of like, some of it is in CSS, some of it is in JavaScript, and it's a little weird. But the structure of what you see in this pane as well is just absolutely gorgeous. So the thing that you're editing is dark highlighted, and it has autocomplete. Excellent. When you're reading the list, you know that what you're actually looking for is the selector and the values. It's not the background here, for instance. So if I'm looking for button, I know that I'm looking for the background or the border radius of the button. I'm not actually looking for that keyword. So that is why button is in a strong color, and the color of the background and the actual radius of the border is in a strong color, but the selector is not, or the I guess the key is not. And this just comes from someone who has clearly done this before, right? And the thing that you're adding here, like you added button has icon and then you're starting running a gap. So that selector is highlighted down here because you're adding it to this selector. Even though you're up here editing, creating a new thing, it's being slotted into where it should be. It's really fucking cool. What else? Oh yeah, so something I noticed, just the first thing I did when I was waiting for the stream to start was I squinted at it to see, like, does the visual hierarchy really work, or is this just because I'm on a Mac, so I have basically a perfect screen? And if you squint at this, like, you can totally follow the structure anyway. Even though the lines disappear, which help guide your eye, you can still follow the entire structure of the app, which is really impressive because he's been making use of really, really consistent spacing and a lot of smart white space. So everything is grouped very strongly within this app in a way that is very rare to see. Like, this is incredibly thought through to get to that point, right? Because all of the gray disappears when you squint at it, and you can only see the black and the white, and yet you can still see the groups and the pane boxes. You can still see them just from where stuff is. So that is really freaking cool. Really well done. Really well done. So the contrast is low, but it's still high enough that you can see it and use it, which is exactly what you want. There's also a really interesting choice here because he's auto-completing the variable space small in the gap up here. And what it's doing is, like, the thing that you've already written is white. The autocomplete is grayed out. But if you can't read that, it doesn't matter because you also have the same thing in the dropdown. So you have basically two autocompletes helping you and your eye, like helping you guide your eye and helping making it way easier for you to just do this quickly and easily. I really, really appreciate that level of detail. It's very freaking cool. Also has the symbol for enter in the end of the input box, so you know how to actually say yes or okay from the keyboard. Really cool detail. I haven't seen that before, I think. It's a really good idea. Definitely something I'm going to take away from my own designs. I could use this for simple things like like an email login. Like, why doesn't it just go enter? Like, yeah, of course, that's pretty smart. Like, most people don't maybe not know that's the enter symbol, but it doesn't matter. It's going to help them slowly understand anyway. And the people who do, it's going to really help. So that is a really genius move. Okay, so what is bad about this? Well, the only thing that I can tell, like, I thought the contrast would be hard with, like, these lines, the grid lines, would be bad, but they don't. They aren't. They're just like, it doesn't matter if they're there. It just helps it look even more structured. But you could remove them and it would still work. So it still works for people who can't see this contrast really well, actually. So excellent choice. But the drop down is quite funky. So the whole layout and the whole design is very, very flat, and the drop down is a hovering element on top of it. So I understand why you would make that as a separate layer, but it just feels a little too 3D. It feels a little, it almost feels a little cramped compared to many of the other things. So I would probably redesign the drop down a little bit. Now, I'm not sure what he was thinking here, so I can't know the context for why it looks the way it does. But I would probably, like, make it the width of the box. And since you're writing in black, I would probably make the background black, even though it's hovering on top of something else. I think that's fine as long as there's a shadow to denote that it is hovering. I don't know that though. It's just something that I would try. So I guess what I'm really saying here is I think this could be a weakness in the design. I'm not sure if it is, and I would do some variations to figure that out. And I'm pretty sure Sebastiano has already done that. But I would still like to see the variations. It would be very, very interesting. And well, I guess the last thing we have to talk about is, does this work for the end user? Now, this is not a real app, so I don't know. We can't know, right? But I am probably the target audience of this. I am a designer. I make UIs for a living, and I do know how to code. So I sit in VS Code a lot, and I could definitely see myself working with something that is specifically made only for the UI like this. I really like the structure of it. Yeah, I would love to see more, basically. So I'm saying I don't know if this works for the end user, but I feel like I would like to try it. Like, so I would love to know more, to see more. I would love to like be yeah, I would like to see more of this. So don't know if it works for the end user. Pretty hopeful that it would, and really, really impressed by the work in general. So yeah, if you want to see more about this incredibly cool editor, and I'm sure he has other stuff as well. Yeah, look at that. Of course he does. Look at this. Oh my God, great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is really nice. Go follow Sebastiano at Guerrero. Oh God, I can't say that. Guerrero underscore SE. I don't know. Anyway, great designer, great work, really cool to learn from. And yeah, that's it from today. So today's Halloween. Damn it! I should have done some Halloween-inspired content. I should have done the monsters thing we were looking at yesterday. Today, that would have been perfect. Oh well, whatever. At least there's a skull on the screen, so you know it's Halloween. This was Armchair Safari, daily design stream where we try to become better designers by looking at stuff we find online and reviewing that and figuring out what is good about this, what is bad about this, and will this work for the end user. Tomorrow is Friday, which means it's not a serious stream. It's going to be just a bunch of beautiful stuff that I found online. So if you have any beautiful designs, let me know. And yeah, come hang out. It's approximately going to be around this time. It is every week. And looking forward to a long weekend because I desperately need one. I'm sure you do too. Have a great weekend. Oh, God. Have a great night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.